This is KMTV. My name is Nathan Charles, sitting in the presenter seat on this beautiful day of March, the 4th of March, and it's the third month in 2024. Stories we're looking at today, our discussion points today on the Diaspora Talk. It's been a long time, and my colleague Jackson George, a panelist of this program, is in studio. We're looking at the tension at East Rock Crushing site in Lower Maygibi County. This after another bloody protest in Grand Kibma County that resulted in the several persons dead. And MCC boss John Siafa on massive cleaning up of dirty Monrovia after taking over from CDC Jefferson Kochi, warns restaurants owners and business people to keep their area clean or filled. We'll also be discussing about police boss Gregory Coleman. He has announced a setting up of a whole case EFA unit to dig deeper into old cases. He said Liberians must come up and express their grievances on those cases that were not resolved properly by the George Weah government. Popular Nigerian actor and comedian John Okofa, known as Mr. Ibu, is dead. He was indeed a trailblazer in the movie industry in Nigeria and around the world. And George Weah, former Liberian president, is back on his pulpit, blasting the Joseph Human Boyka leadership of the Unity Party government for killing protesters, and said he will do something very soon. These are all of the talking points we're coming to you with on the Diaspora Talk. Our lead panelist, Jackson Josh, is back fresh from Monrovia, Liberia. Cyrus Mangi, he could not be on this program. Joanne Prassi as well. They are all affiliated with the Diaspora Talk. And we're looking at these issues from Liberia. Mr. George, welcome to the Diaspora Talk.
Thank you. It's good to be home.
It's good to be home.
After a month of being in Liberia, it's good to be home.
Great. How was it?
It's hard when you say home, right? It's good to be back because I still consider myself living in exile.
Great.
Yeah.
So in terms of the flight, in terms of the reception from the Liberian people and the celebration as a whole?
I think the country is warm. There's a calm feeling in Monrovia after the transition. Things are going, I would say things are going back to normal. The transition is over. Some people will say we're still transitioning, but I think the transition is over. The new government is settling down. And so Liberia is on the right trajectory, I would say. We've always tried to do our best. But I think moving forward, Liberians in Liberia and around the world, we've come to the point where we need to move forward. We need to develop. So I don't know if Liberia can ever go back to the days where we were so afraid to speak out or so afraid to talk about things that we wanted to talk about for the betterment of our country.
Great, for the betterment of our country. Let's go into one of our first discussion point here. Cleaning up Monrovia. The new city mayor, John Siafa, is cleaning up Monrovia. He had this warning for restaurants and business owner in Monrovia. Let's listen to him and we'll get your view on his comment.
Let me tell you something. We'll close you down. When we lock it, we're not opening. It don't matter. You are responsible to clean your front. You are responsible to clean your front. You are supposed to get bathroom in a place for people to use. You're supposed to get correct sink. No restaurant in the peninsula will operate Monrovia if you don't have a correct facility. You got to get bathroom. You got to get 2 sinks to wash dishes. That's standard. We'll try to reach it. It's not easy, but we'll try. You can't be here, you get dead in front of it. It's not possible. Go back on the streets, all that kind of thing in there, y'all got to stop. Y'all wear 4 clothes, y'all go in the street, y'all look good. Then people come to your home, they look so bad. No, it's serious. You see your own son going to try to play, you looking all right. They come to your play, look so bad. Then y'all say, oh, the government are us. Please. Today I'm passing around talking to people. I will not get out to do it every day. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
They pay attention to you. And the police are going to tell all your team you pay attention. And you see how you have that respect? ACIA, no, sorry for yourself. ACIA, that respect. Everybody looking at you. I talk to you with respect. You walk in, you go in. When the police get to everything, then you say, oh, let's send the police. ACIA, I need everybody like proper looking. I talk to you, you tell me your back. The thing what you know you're not supposed to do, you're doing it. I can't talk to you easy, you tell you around. ACIA, I got you with you.
Good morning to all. I'm paying greeting.
Go ahead.
Nathan, I think for such a start, and I will agree with the mayor that businesses should be able to clean before their own uh, uh, areas. It's not for government to come and clean in front of your restaurant or business sector. Even paving in front of your place is something that you will see that a new pavement is there, but people do not even pave in front of the place. But what I would have done was to put a plan in place, use my first month, sit down with all my people, do some study, put a plan in place, get on the radio, educate the people about how we're gonna roll this out, what's gonna happen, and then try to find funds like grants to help some of the business people to install bathroom or to help them pave in front of their places and other stuff. That's why you want to do if you want to develop so that most of those restaurants are already the margin on a restaurant is so low that they're hardly making enough money to do some of the work that he's talking about installing, putting in bathroom installs, which is very necessary because you can go to a restaurant, you can have a good bathroom to use. But again, some of those businesses don't even have the funds to do that. So how can government partner with some of these businesses to ensure that the city is well kept and beautiful? That's what government need to do, partner with some of these people to make it work. It is done around the world. Wherever we want development, the government has to heavily get involved. We have international partners that could help. We have embassies near Monrovia that got funds for all of these kind of a projects. So I think the city mayor should, I like his approach, but I think he needs to put a plan in place, give the people some time to roll it out, educate the Liberian people in the city as to when this program going to be rolled out, see how we can work with them, with the business people and targeted areas, and see how we can fund some of those, provide grants for some of those people to be able to uplift the city. But to just go in abruptly and say it's going to happen, I think it's too early.
When you say it's too early, it's a judge. Should the city mayor now? People been in Monrovia for years, and so should he like gotta go and tell you that you need to clean your place?
No. What I'm saying is that put a plan in place, educate the people as to what they're supposed to do, and roll it out. Look, bad behaviors over the years have been to the point where people don't even believe that the city is dirty. I was in my home and I asked the guy to move some. I hit to see plastic bags, and you know what he told me?
No.
Sir, to you it's dirty, but to us it's clean. So can you imagine? And that's in my compound. That's two plastic bags. And I told him, I said, if you pick up your plastic bag, that's one plastic bag from 5 million people. So my point is that I'm not saying that the people should not clean in front of the facilities or in front of the businesses. I think it is immediate, but I think if you put a plan in place and you roll it out and give a month on the radio and using leaflets and other things to educate the people, and then you start to roll out those programs slowly, but to just come in and say, it doesn't go. To me, it's not just one person; it's the whole city.
So it's the city dirty. You been in Monrovia.
That's
It's
what I'm saying,
Monrovia
the whole
dirty.
city. So
It's
not-
Monrovia
not-
dirty.
The mayor cannot move from one point to another and say, clean out your city, clean out this place, clean out this place. People are gonna come. No, he has to roll out a plan for the entire city.
So
entire
it's,
city.
so it's Monrovia dirty.
I
You've
wouldn't
been
use
there.
the word dirty. I think the city needs to be
Stink,
clean.
filthy.
No. I wouldn't even use that. I think the city, I mean, even in developed countries, there's places in the country that it's not clean. If you went to New York, you'll see some things there. But what I'm saying is that there must be a plan put in place. There must be a time where you educate the people before you use force. You can just come in and say, because you don't have a bathroom, we're going to close you down tomorrow morning. It doesn't work like that.
But that's city ordinance. You should have these things
Totally
before you
agree, but
operate.
This has been there for so many years. Governments have come and governments have gone. I'm not saying because it are not happening, it shouldn't happen. What I'm saying is that give us some time, educate us, give me the tools first, to do my work. Then you can hold me accountable. Tell me, you got 2 months to do this. And if you need help, this is where you can go to get help. And if you need funding, this is the bank we've talked to that can provide you loans. Create the environment for people to be able to do stuff. And the people who don't do it, then you hold them accountable. But just to come here abruptly and say the police will come and seize all your property, I don't think at this point that's what we need. That's my fight.
It should be more civilized. So let's go over to this other development here. Tension erupted today as at East Rock Crushing site in Lower Maygibi County, just days after we saw that bloody situation in Conjo, Grand Cape County. Now we're seeing tension all around Liberia since Joseph Imaboka took over. Even before he came in, there have been tension, but we witnessed a situation in Grand Cape County. It was terrible. 2 persons so far we have gathered that died as a result of that. Now another situation again is evolving in in Maygibi County. So what is going on? Let's listen for some of the guys there at the East Rock Crushing site. They will talk all about this tension. What can be done differently under the new leadership?
Run for them, they say the body from.
No, I'm not a journalist.
Why you?
They ride accessing the other time and then allowing them to do their business as usual because they are all like
Here with the people, and it was clear about it. But I see reason why
for
people
the
come in
benefit
this
of
money.
those, for the benefit of those following you, can you briefly explain to us how this road becomes a public road? Was it constructed by the company?
This is not a public road. This is a private road.
How it become a private road? That's what we want to understand.
This is a company.
Okay.
They bought this place.
Okay.
Yeah, and they opened this place to go.
Nobody embarrassing them. They're embarrassing us. They're embarrassing my contract. I heard all the contracts are going on now for now. But they don't want me to do any contract here.
How many days the bro has been closed from you guys to use it?
More than 15 days.
What happened? So what happened on Saturday that brought us to where we are today?
What happened on Saturday? Yeah? Saturday they blocked their place. We put fuel. All the machine took 700 gallons. They charged them. We put 35 gallons. We have all the fuel on the car and the stop up are working. So no contract going for us and bring a heavy noise here. They almost be riot. So I even talked to my boss that work with me to go away and stay away from trouble. And they trying to keep embarrassing us. But our own parents that work with them, they get a map, bring in truck. I think you can see that rock from the hole. They take it with the machine. Yeah. They take the rock. They take the rock with the machine. They take the rock with the machine and block all the places. Then no motorbus. See here bagging and power. What they saying that bag will park. No bagging and power in the place here. You see all around there. You see there.
Mr. George, how can we look at our concession differently and to ensure that peace is instilled in all parts of Liberia? Because we've seen pockets of violence.
Nathan, you see, first of all, I think our problem is basic respect for each other. Let's take government away for a while. If we respect each other, we'll do better for each other. I think some Liberians believe that there are other Liberians who are less Liberians than the other. For those who made it, I think they feel that I don't give a damn. Once me and my family made it, the rest of the other people are no use to me. There's no way in the world you will sign a concession agreement and the locality where you sign the concession agreement is so poor. I don't even have I can't even comprehend that in my mind, that even if you are mining gold or diamond in a locality, there's no clinic, there's no school, there's no road, there's nothing. Even a rock crusher that you're talking about, if you went in that county, they're bad roads, right? Don't tell me that the rock crusher cannot take 2 trucks and give us one in a concession. If you use 2 trucks, you give us 1 truck as government. And so that 1 truck that you give, we just plow our roads and waste our diet on it. But when I say it's about respect, is the people who are making the laws, the people who are in the community. Before you have a concession agreement, you must have hearings. You must have gone into the community and talk to the community about it, because that's the community that will be affected. Remember, the people who are making the laws most of the time are not living in those localities. They don't really care. Most of the
They plan the place for all
most of the
cross.
senators does not even live.
How long this have been
They
happening?
only come to the county on the weekends to in the counties. They just come on the counties on the weekends. So some of the people even come there and run after they live in other places for so many years. They just come run, build a house and run, win. And
I mean, you talk about election.
Election, they don't really care. But those are the people who are making the laws for all of these people. So when I say respect, when it comes to this concession, we need to go back on the drawing board. The second thing that I see, in most countries, they have people who did crisis management.
Yeah.
Right? I went to school for crisis management. I'm a crisis manager. When I look at these things, you can't send people into crisis who are not crisis manager. You know, like the other day, I saw some senators and representatives that went to Kiba and they're telling the police chief, you can't do this, you can't. Well, we got laws. Democracy is crazy. So what the police chief said, so I understand. But do you want me to, when there's a problem in a city, I should not go there? No. That's not what we say. So, but then what are you saying? So in those instances, the House and the Senate should hire conflict or crisis manager to go in there and resolve some of these before it even come to the public. They should have had
Be more proactive.
They should have 3 people speaking down there. After a back closed door meeting, you come to the public, you've solved that. Somebody from the community will speak, the police will speak, the company will speak, and then they could have spoken, because at that point you had a conflict manager trying to resolve some of these conflicts. Most of the time when you hear about conflict management, right? People think is something got to burn down before you go in there. No, you resolve some of these conflicts before they even come up. So most of the concession agreement that was signed, sometimes it's complicated to go back and redo some of these concession agreements because of what was signed into it, how much money that the company has spent already. But that's where government come in. Government is the bigger person. Government should go at some point. Government will have to take the loss to redo some of these agreements, because the people will continue to develop. Look, the internet is, people in those areas now can take their cell phones and look at China and look at Japan and look at the United States and look at other places. You think this country going to stay the same way forever? No, it's not. So these people in this concession area are learning on their own. They are developing. So there will always be problems. In fact, there will be more problems coming out in Liberia now.
But worst of all, when the people feel that they are not benefiting from the resources, as you see in this video, they are extracting the resources, the rock, and selling them, making millions of dollars. But yeah, and look at the community, look at the rules, and stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Deplorable.
That's what I'm saying.
What can our lawmakers do to bear us?
Look, Liberia has a compound complex problem, right? The 3 branches of government, they have their own problems, and again, I'll say poverty is a disease. Poverty is a disease. Everybody is fighting. We have this great mentality that everybody is fighting for themselves. We need to start fighting for the Liberian people. So yes, it is totally impossible when you see all these trucks moving on a daily basis, right? And yet the community in which they are supposed to be operating from, very poor. It's not possible. Totally impossible. So you don't need a rocket science to say that at some point explosion will happen here, because at what point that my children are going to school, at what point that I can find food for my children to eat, at what point that I cannot buy a vehicle, I need my 30s, I don't own a house, but yet you're mining everything from right below my feet. You taking lands that I could have developed on. And so government will have to rethink. It doesn't matter whether it happened 13 years ago. Right now is what's happening now. How do we solve the problem now? And in solving that problem, we have to meet the community again, reassure the community that we're going to do something about it, and heavily get involved into developing that community. Even the rock crusher, like I said, even the roads. You can't be crushing rocks and cars can't even pass on the road. In other part of the county, it's not possible. The whole county should be crushed rock should be on the whole county. The car it should be drivable. But I showed as part of my GB that cars cannot pass. But yet we're crushing rocks. So again, we come back to respect of each other. We might respect each other. Every Liberian No Liberian is more Liberian than the other. Just because you're in position doesn't mean that you're better off than the other people who are there. So as we make these, as we sit on the table for this concession, Nathan, we should put ourselves in the shoes of those people that live in there. If I were living here, what are the decisions that I will make for me living in this place? Once you start thinking that way, then you will make sound decision. But if it is, we're gonna come here and give everybody $10,000 to do 20 years of damage, or $200,000 to do 20 years of damage. How do you feel? We should be our brother's keeper.
Indeed, we should be our brother keeper. Let's go over to this other development here, Liberia. A lot of things to talk about. Looking at what's going on with the George Weah. He's been blasting the Unity Party government of Joseph Yimon Boyka over the death of Liberians because they are protest. George Weah is saying, former Liberian president is saying, Joseph Yimon Boyka, you was holding our feet to the fire, but we will hold your feet double to the fire because you was preaching that people have the right to protest. Now you are in power. You are suppressing people from protesting all around Liberia. Worst of all, you have killed your police officer have killed 2 Liberians or protesters. What is going on? And he's calling on the international community to intervene. He also said in his sermon, in his short message at his church, that it happened before our citizen protested and the police director stepped down. Now, if that happened, he will also lead that process, and he wants the international community to intervene. Let's take a clip from George Weah when he spoke Sunday in his church.
Yeah, doesn't matter how you protest diligently, so there cannot be casualties. My word, I hope it's still with you. You have your right as citizen of the country, and I hope those that are on my voice around the globe, peace is the only way. Without peace, trust me, our war is in trouble.
The President George, we are talking about how Liberians must embrace peace. So we could not get that part, but you listen to him briefly.
Well, I think I did on Sunday.
Okay.
If I were the former president, I wouldn't be the person delivering the message, right?
Why say that? Why?
Because
he's a stakeholder.
Because he been president. On his watch, so many things happened that he himself could not even speak on. You know, like the death of all of those auditors and other things. So will he say? I'm not saying that the killings were legitimate or they were right or they were not right. No Liberians should died, but he'd been in power. He'd been president. He understands the complexity of some of these things. Investigation has not taken place. There has been no findings. So for him, I think he's been political, which is I think he's been political, and I think he's a stakeholder. But I think we need to allow the police to investigate to find out what happened. Like I heard Gregory saying that he's going to investigate and find out what happened. People were killed. So somebody got to be held responsible for their action. People should not protest and die in protest. But again, sometimes things happen, and we just got to find solution to the problem. But coming from him as former president and understanding the complexity of government, I think, like I say, it's been political because you're saying if you say you could come and do better than we did, then these things should not happen. I think that's where he's coming from.
But you think George Weah should not be the one because he's a political leader. I mean, he's a figure now in Liberia, a public figure.
Presidents would be quiet, like Ellen did for a while. Former presidents would sit back, allow some time before they start to speak. His is immediate. It hasn't been 100 days yet. His is immediate.
But things are happening. Killing is nothing but sitting back.
What I'm saying.
Killing is
you have a machine.
great.
You have a machine. You have a political party. The political party, I understand, must be the one doing that. He's a former president. He's just not a stand-up bearer for this party. So as former president, you want to give the other side sometimes use your party to make those statements. Use your party to put pressure on for now, because former presidents will normally wait and be a little quiet That's what is normal. Does that mean that high is supposed to be?
So
does that mean that high is supposed to
normal?
be?
It's killing.
No. I'm not saying the killing is normal.
Fine.
But what I'm saying, he still has the machinery to push forward. All I'm saying is that it is customary that former presidents will wait and wait for a while after 100 days to be able to start making some statements that are right.
So
now
you're saying advocacy are customary.
No, but what again, it comes to the presidency. The former president, like Ellen gave him time to run his government. He should give this current president some time. Now, doesn't mean that the issue that he's talking about is not legitimate. It is legitimate. He must use his machine, the CDC machine, to push on what he wants. Because, like I said, if you say you're coming to rescue us, if you say you're coming to do this, then don't do what we did. I think that's the argument. But again, because of the complexity of government, he has to understand, which he sat in that chair, understands the complexity. What I'm saying is that they have not done the investigation. The police chief has said there will be investigation, and those who are held responsible will be responsible. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt in this new administration to conduct an investigation, as compared to in the last 6 years, no investigation results came out. Even though they said there were going to be investigation, no results came out. So I would say let's give them a benefit of the doubt where we can do that. I understand the president, and I think the former president meant well when he said that, because in his mind, no Liberian should die, no Liberian should be shot, and I think it's right. But all I'm saying is that if it is customary, then let's give them some time. Let's use the CDC machine to do the work for now until after 100 days, where he can come back as a political leader of his party to start voicing out. But remember, coming from him has more weight, so maybe he used that platform as a means to get the message across.
But I mean, like you said, I mean, for me, I disagreed. If you say that he has to wait because it's customary,
right?
And no, it's not. There's nothing customary in advocacy. It doesn't mean because former president.
It depends on the individual. He's former president.
It's the issue,
again, like I said,
issue and individual.
Let's put it this way: under the CDC administration, that concession was there. What happened now that they're uprising? So someone could say, well, is that sedition?
We're not looking at the concession, we're looking at the death.
All of these things, but what brought the death? We don't go back to the root cause. Something happened. After 6 years, there was no fighting, there was nothing there. Nobody, all the people that were sitting in that locality did not know that these things were happening. They knew that they were happening. So is there an undercurrent that is bringing these people out to protest now for the same concession I've been there for 13 years? Something must be happening. So we will make sure that you don't succeed. We will make sure in the early stage that we will create all of these problems so that you don't succeed.
So you put your finger now.
No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is,
we will make sure.
Well, no, I'm just saying CDC is saying we'll make sure, because CDC is a major opposition bloc, right? But let's put it this way. Let's say CDC is not part of this. Let's say the people in their own wisdom decided that after all, this is the time to protest legitimately. Liberians should protest for what they feel that they want, right? I mean, protest is not a bad thing. People advocating, they want justice, they want peace, they want things. So, but what I'm saying is that coming from a former president at this point, when the current president has not sat in office for 100 days, when the police chief said there will be an investigation, right? I think he should have waited, used the CDC machine to propagate what he's talking about, and let his 100 days pass. If there's no investigation within that time, when there's no results coming out, then he can come up and say something about it. But I think it's too early. What we're seeing now coming from him, if every Sunday he's going to come up and move his people into believing these things, then it becomes a state within a state. You know, that's why most presidents just sit down. How many times you heard Barack Obama talking about government issues here? You know, he doesn't. So,
indeed, Jackson George believed that President George Weah should sit down for some time and keep quiet.
I don't know. I mean, sitting down and not speaking doesn't mean it's quiet.
That's why it's people being killed.
So you think it's sedition are being killed?
Liberians,
are you saying
Liberians are being killed, but you saying former President George Weah should keep quiet?
No, you still getting me wrong. I'm
You said he
saying
must
he
wait
should
for 100 days.
He should use his machine. He still has a
but
machine.
he has a voice. So why should he use somebody? His
So
party.
you don't think Ellen had a voice?
There was no killing in the first 30 days of George Weah on the airing.
It doesn't matter when the killing took place.
But you saying
No, I
100
just
days.
asking questions.
But you bring it matter.
No, but I just asking questions. You don't think
100 days?
I agree. I said 100 days because of that. No, it doesn't.
Fine.
But what you're saying is
The
that.
issue.
But what I'm saying did Ellen Johnson Sirleaf use the death of the auditors to make statements?
Was it in 30 days?
No, it's not 30 days.
No, you say,
But I'm just saying. So Ellen kept quiet, right? Ellen kept quiet. If it is campaign time, if it tells me that this president, the former president, is coming back to run again, when he said he was not going to run, then it's a good thing if he wants to be in politics. He's your young man. If he wants to get back into politics and come back in 2029, that's a good thing for him. But all I'm saying is that 100 days are not coming. Yet the killing of Liberian citizens anywhere is not a good thing, and we're not going to condone, people using live bullet on protesters, and that's an unfortunate situation. And I hope Gregory Comer will be able to deal with it, have a resolution, bring it down, and those who are responsible must be brought to justice. If there were order given from the high command, they need to know if the police individuals made their own decision at the time because the lives were being threatened. Still, there must be investigation. But when there's no investigation, when the police chief said there will be investigation, and for the former president to come and start to make statements on that, I think it's unfortunate. And you see as advocates, I don't see it from that point. I think it has the propensity of creating more chaos.
Yes, Liberia again, and we'll see another protest happening in Liberia. But hopefully, we will be joining Nat Beji very soon from Liberia. He was indeed a friend to John Okofa, commonly known as Mr. Ibu. Nat Beji is calling us from Liberia. He will be joining us very soon. Let's see if we can connect Nat Beji to retrospect briefly about who Mr. Ibu was and what kind of man Mr. Ibu was. Nat, are you there? Welcome to the Diaspora Talk.
Thank you very much, Nathan.
So basically, I know you were very close to popular Nigerian actor and comedian John Okofa, commonly known as Mr. Ibu. He died over the weekend, I think, in Nigeria. Can you just retrospect what kind of man he was?
Well, Mr. Ibu was a man of humor, like everything, just the way you see him in the movies. In reality, that's who Mr. Ibu was. Just the way he makes people, or he used to make people to laugh your guts out. That's exactly how he was. That's exactly who he was, be it in practical or in real life.
What the death means to you as a close friend, and how the friendship started with you and Mr. Ibu?
Firstly, in terms of how this friendship started with Mr. Ibu and I, is that I had envisioned a collaboration because as a diplomat assigned at our Liberian embassy in Abuja, knowing Nigeria to be the biggest, powerhouse in every ramifications of our everyday life, be it in diplomacy, be it in economics, or even in entertainment. So I was looking forward to collaborating with a popular Nigerian entertainer at the onset of the previous administration, which is the George Weah administration, somewhere in 2018. Excuse me. So, because Nigerians themselves generally were very excited that Liberia had elected a relatively younger person, they too were going through a tough time in trying to get a young person to national leadership. So you needed to have seen how Nigerians generally acted during the course of our 2017 election. So when we elected overwhelmingly a younger person in President Weah, they had thought that it was a good thing, and they will have set the pace. So then, when I made a proposal and I made some attempts to get to some Nigerian entertainment to help with a with a proposal that I had, eventually I landed at Mr. Ibu's desk. I mean, you know these people, they're very popular, to get them is a problem. Fast forward, I saw the idea to him, and he said, but he's very, very much happy because he had been to the library before for one or two movie stuff, and then he wanted to help the We administration to succeed. And in doing that, he was very glad and willing to come and not just one of those 1 or 2 hours performances on the live stage and going back. It is that even I worked on a project that we went even 80% that will have seen him supervising and bringing on board other celebrity stars and other people who were very bright-minded in their respective areas in order to help the then pro government in achieving its youth empowerment. And it was such a very, very ambitious plan. And even I went back and forth on that, of course, through his office. Those people are so well organized that they will have manager, they will have secretary, and they will have a whole set of like a company. And then we were trying to work through them, former City Mayor Jefferson Koji, and then so during the course of that, we became closer. And to the extent, Mr. Ibu, when a project eventually did not, really, get to his reputation in terms of being achieved 100%, Mr. Ibu didn't give up on the friendship. Mr. Ibu, when he heard that I had lost, my elder sister in Liberia in 2020, so when he was in Abuja, he made it his duty and visited me personally at my Abuja residence. And there we sat. That is, before them, I had made a couple of visits to his Lagos office, and then even to his home state in Enugu. As a matter of fact, coincidentally, when the Seaman Wifo and Flavor, that our visually impaired Liberian musician,
Yes,
who was eventually helped by another iconic Nigerian star, Flavor. So I represented the embassy on receiving Flavor. Receiving the Wifo and his team as led by Judy and the onward to Enugu. That's when Ibu also came here and said, "That is my state." And he introduced me to a lot of places that and we had more collaboration. So we got closer even up to when he fell ill. And the last time we had a physical interaction, which is my current profile picture on my Facebook page. That was December of 2021.
Okay, now thanks so much. We thought to bring you on because to get close to some of these popular stars in Nigeria, it is very hard. We say have our sympathy.
It's a big challenge. It's such a
Yeah.
big challenge.
Okay.
A lot of my Nigerian friends who are based there kept asking, how did he pull it off? It's the first time you see this man. You may come closer to him and stuff. So, but I think it's lost. It's such a tragic loss because not only to his family but to the industry as a whole. As a matter of fact, what broke me down, which answers your second question, what does his death mean, is that just when we all thought that he had recovered, from whatever sicknesses he was ongoing, especially where he was amputated.
It's like we having some disconnection problem with Nat Beji there from Liberia. He's they're speaking on the death of Mr. Ibu or something.
Hello, yes, I'm back on.
Okay, yeah, just wrap up
Are you
now.
there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wrapping up. So to have, to the extent we heard through one of his aides that he was recovering, and then to have lost the battle eventually was, it's a major blow. And I personally felt it, for a relationship that spanned 5 years. And then we were still hoping, but we had discussed that under the new administration, we have made true our promise on the project we were working on. So it's a big blow to me personally, but also to the industry, not only Nollywood, but the whole entertainment industry, as far as acting, especially comedy is concerned.
Not Beji, they're speaking from Liberia on the death of Mr. John Okofa, commonly known as Mr. Ibu, a very familiar, popular
I know. I was
actor.
fortunate
Thanks,
one
Not
time.
Beji.
I was at the Boulevard Palace. I was at the Boulevard Palace Hotel at the time. I used to stay up there, and I interacted with him. I mean, that was
when you saw his face, you started laughing.
You started to laugh right away. I mean, the guy was an icon, and everybody wanted to take a picture with him. He spoke the same way. I think he lived his life the same. So it's a sad time for the movie industry.
When he started, only his face.
Yes, he's my favorite.
He used to make me laugh.
He was my favorite.
Then he got.
Yeah, you see the guy, you start to laugh.
Hey.
Yeah.
He was really a good actor. May his soul rest in peace. Let's move on to this next development. Let's see if we can take a break from our sponsor, the Park Liquor Outlet. Time is fast spent. When we come back, we'll go into Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency and other issues here in Liberia. We're discussing on the Diaspora Talk.
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or ride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kent. Welcome to Brooklyn Chiropractic. Come to Brooklyn Chiropractic if you're having any back or neck pain. Especially, we specialize in treating people in auto and work-related injuries. So we've been established here in Brooklyn Center for the last 14 years. And one of the pleasures that I have is helping out in the community. We've sponsored a lot of events throughout the years in the community. And we really appreciate being a part of the community. So if you're experiencing any pain, give us a try. If you want a drug-free way to get better. Thank you.
Welcome again to the Diaspora Talk. My name is Nathan Charles. Our lead presenter, Cyrus Mangi, is out, and Joanne Proud CA is also affiliated with this program. Jackson George, our lone panelist, is here looking at issues from Liberia. Tension at East Rock International East Rock Crushing site in Lower Maygibi County. This after another protest in Grand Cayman County that resulted into several deaths. And MCC boss John Siafa on massive cleaning up of Monrovia that is very filthy and dirty, warning restaurants and business owners to keep Monrovia clean from filth. Police boss Gregory Coleman announces a whole case EFI unit to dig deeper into old cases that have not been concluded. Conclusively concluded. That's a word you always say. Year student
concluded, right?
Okay.
Sounds like.
Yeah, and popular Nigerian actor and comedian John Okofa, popularly known as Mr. Ibu, died. And also we'll go over the Liberia Drugs Enforcement boss, Abraham Kroma. He's crying out for aid. He needs more money to tackle the issue of drugs. He said what happened during the time he was police director, from the case study, they raid out ghettos and other places, few minutes, few hours, few days, the guys are back. And those who are exporting or importing drugs into Liberia, they are going scot-free. So he said this time, as a LDA boss, he wants to invent or develop new programs that they will go into rehabilitation and other sector, not just arresting them, but speeding up trying them, because we saw when he took over a few days, He raided some popular areas in Monrovia. Now let's take a listen from him. He held a press conference few minutes the day and speaking on these wide range of issues. Abraham Krumah spoke to the press. Let's see if we can bring you that clip here.
20% of that particular number using drugs. So out of that 20%, you have, which is actually equivalent to 1 million of our population on the drugs. That is scary. For me, as a Liberian and as a parent, is scaring the health element. And that's one of the reasons why, and because of my belief in this government and in this president's quest to address this drug issue, one of the reasons why I took this job. And I can assure you that with the officers, with the folks that have surrounded me, we are going to go all out to ensuring that we address this issue without any favor to anybody. Once you are there, we are going to make sure that every person, anybody, irrespective of your status in society, once you are within our line of operation and you are a peddler, you are a distributor, you are a dealer, we will arrest you, we will put you before the magistrate court and make sure you are prosecuted by our higher court. One of the reasons why we have basically decided to be a little considerate with regards to the rehabilitation component, and I'll drill you a little bit with regards to what is our action. Under the new act, rehabilitation is a component under the new act for us. But because we do not have the requisite facility, the infrastructure at this point, we have decided to hold on to the raiding of the streets. We can do the street raiding in about 2 days. I can clear the whole of Monrovia. I can tell you that clearly. It is simple. But when you clear the folks that we did when I was in the police force, when we did the Tuttle base, clear the folks, we took them out, and I was of strong opinion that the folks in the NGO community, the folks in the Ministry of Youth and Sport actually have put up some backing as to how we can accommodate this guy in the system. But to my surprise, the folks, there were nothing out for them, and I was off for law and order. We took them off red light at the time. Red light was fine. Everything was good. People are using their phone nowadays. But then the guys transferred the crime from right there, their presence from there, straight to panel building on Center Street. We're not prepared to repeat that anymore. We have the capacity, we have the understanding to get them. What we're currently doing is to code them, which is part of 100-day delivery. We're going to code them, go to the rural ghetto, get them, codify them into a systematic approach. And once they are systematically placed on our database, we will tag them and wait for the construction of the rehabilitation center. However, what we intend to also do is to enter into a private-public partnership with most of our folks out there who have private rehabilitation structure. We have Mother of Grace somewhere around the Rafi Highway. We're going to be engaging them tomorrow. And there are other institutions like Senator Dillon has another institution. We'll be engaging them. So as to accommodate some of these guys, when we approach them, when we've already coded them into our system, we'll transfer some of them into the facility so as to build a point of satisfaction for our people. The folks out there, they are victim, they're not criminal. We have two people in our system. We have the ones that are trafficking, that are peddling, that are distributing, that are dealing. Those guys are judicial crime. Those are the guys that we are going to be put before the criminal justice system. But the other guys that are on Rounder Street and Center Street, all the places around the country that are taking these drugs.
Mr. George, you listen to Abraham Krumah. He's there mapping up how they're going to go about. What do you make of that? How can it be done differently?
I think I met Mr. Krumah in Monrovia. I think he's well suited for this position. I think Fadiga is his deputy, well suited. I think they met a broken system. There's nothing there. I think this is a national security issue. There should be a national security convening at this point to look at budgeting. Where can we take money from now to move into the EDA? He's right. There must be a public-private partnership because the EDA cannot do all, but the EDA will be able to support our initiative. So if you met with the schools, not the school, but the churches, and some of the rehabilitation centers that are in Monrovia that have been poorly funded, the EDA should be able to pump money into them so that those victims that he talked about could be helped. And so that is why I frown on those people they call Zogos, because they are not Zogos, they are disadvantaged Liberians who with name tag. And so the drugs in our country, right in my neighborhood in the rehab area, there are a lot of drugs. Most of the kids when I'm home, they're on cooch and other stuff. The other
Cooch.
day, the EDA came and raided some of them. And, I had to tell them, some of them, I called some of those young men and I said, look, when the police arrest me, myself going. So they thought I would have come and say, stop, please don't carry them. No, we need to clean our cities, but the drug enforcement agency has no money. The budget is, I think the budget won't even run a month for a month. That's the yearly budget. And so if we are serious about cleaning our cities, getting our young folks, the future leaders of our country, off drugs, then we must put the resources in it. I don't think they have the resources at this point. He met a broken EDA that he needs to put a lot of time into fix, build the structure, build the system. And so there should be a national security convening. Let's look at the defense budget. Let's look at security budget. Let's look at all these budgets and see where we can find money from at this point to pump in $2-3 million into this for the interim, so that he can have the work, the equipment, and then what he needs to do his work. You can't arrest people. We have a justice system. His job is to go out there, arrest people, and follow them to the justice system. If they're on the street again, there's nothing he can do. If
and go back again and arrest them.
Arrest them again. But that's resources he's putting in there. And so
it's not work.
While we love democracy, I always say democracy can be messy. So if he's doing his part and putting them through the justice system, and the next day he sees them again, he arrests them, put them through the justice. How long can you keep arresting one person that is being set free from the justice system? So again, I always say government is compound complex. All of the system, the machines have to work. But I think the EDA is struggling because they don't even have enough vehicles, enough equipment to do their job. And even if they went out and raided the entire city of all of these victims and criminals, where are they going to put them? Beyond the arrest, if you put them in jail, you have to have rehabilitation, you have to feed them, you have to do medically take care of them. So there's a lot of things that the system is not prepared for right now, but they're struggling. So I'm hoping that the new administration will see a value in what the drug enforcement is going to do. And this is not just a Liberia thing, it's regional. And then now it's global, right? If Liberia is being used as a hub, then the global community must come around to ensure that Liberia is not used as a hub. So there's a lot of money should be in the system for these things. Through the international community, we'll call our partners, which I really don't like. But
so who to blame? Because if you say no money in the budget, who to blame?
Well, again, if you look at our budget, we have 580 million, which to me, I've always asked the question, why can't we move to $1 billion? What is stopping us?
It's projection. You don't have.
That's what I'm saying. But why can't we project $1 billion coming in?
And there'll be budget shortfall.
No, it's not budget.
You gotta be realistic.
Look, Liberia can raise $1 billion. Look at our airports. We only have 1 or 2 planes coming in per day.
We have only 3 major flights.
That's what I'm saying. So if we have to raise money, we have to have more of these things happening. Look at our seaport, Freeport. Look at our ports we have. These are money-making machines, right? Look at tourism, money-making machine. How much do we devote into tourism? How much are we developing the tourism industry to get most of these people to come home? These things are there. But if you have a country that works from 10 to 2, you got a bank system now. The banks are closed from 10 to 2. I mean, you know, for all these years, we've been having our banks closed at 2 o'clock. And yet we've been complaining and complaining. And nobody said, but can we just move it to 3 and 4? You got a whole country shut down at 4. Look at traffic in Liberia. Traffic starts at 2. Maybe 3 o'clock, the traffic. So that means people are leaving work at 2 or 3 o'clock when they should be there till 4 or 5, right? So if the traffic starts at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, that means people are leaving work very early. But nobody complains. when you look at our country again, you see the young people on the street selling, when they're supposed to be in school. Nobody's complaining. All of us, we buy from them. Nobody's complaining. We should be our brother's keeper. I understand that there's evening school in Liberia, so maybe the parent who sell in the morning go to evening schools. All of these things we got to investigate. We got social services. We got the gender ministry. We have to work. Let me put it that way. And I don't think we are working. You can't work. A whole country cannot work from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The country has to function from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. if we must have the results that we need. And the other thing that I've learned in Liberia, every decision that the honor people make, they got to call the boss.
So I mean, there's no system to follow.
No, but
SOP standard operating
when
procedure.
you get into a place, they have to call the boss. So if you got to call me for every decision that you have to make, why do I have you anyway? But again, that's a system that they have, that when the minister is coming, everybody stop. The minister come in and get into the elevator that we pay for, the taxpayer dollar. We pay for the elevator. We pay for the car the minister rides. We pay for the, we send the children to school. We the people. But yet we get to a point where when we are hired for the job, we change overnight, right? And so the guy you were talking to 2 days ago, ordinary guy, becomes a minister, and he doesn't pick up your call no more.
Yeah.
When he's coming now, people are opening door for him. I'm not saying those things are not necessary. If you want people to open door and get a driver and other stuff, 6 years after, all the people that are opening doors for those other people, they're not opening doors no more. So if we're in a small country like this, I would think that we will humble ourselves. We will work harder, because you're serving other people. We should not be afraid of our ministers. We should not be afraid of the people that the president hires. Commissioners are carrying bodyguards, and there's some things that we need to reform, right? And we just need to humble ourselves. We just need to come back to reality and understand that this country is so small. For us to be able to grow, we need to improve the private sector. We need to reduce government and partner with the private sector and develop the private sector. Because within the private sector, people make more money. Government got a flat rate kind of a pay structure and other stuff. All of us can work for government anyway. But what I'm saying is that for this to happen, we need to redesign our structure so that we pump more money into the private sector. We develop the private sector. The things that are supposed to bring up money, our airport, our seaport, our tourism body, export. We do those things. We import, we consume, we import more than we export. And apart from minerals, iron ore, and other stuff, we don't even export some of the things that make money. African food, right? $1 billion industry in the United States, we don't export African food. And we have farmers. How would our farmers grow? How will our farmers develop if we're not exporting out of the country? We are just 5 million people. We can consume, even if we're doing our and consuming, or our farmers will not be millionaires. I don't know if we have millionaires farmers in our country, exporting and doing things. So I would say we just need to change the way we do things. We just need to humble ourselves and understand that we can develop, we can do more in increasing our budget, in our national budget. But if you look at the country right now, if you only got $580 million and there are so many problems, what will you do? You got to allocate the funds that way. So are we then going to enforce the drug part of it when we don't have the resources to do it? Mr. Kroma can only do so much based on the limited resources he has.
Based on the resources he has. So indeed, our lawmakers too, they ought to pump in more money for rehabilitation. They ought to pump in more money for equipment in terms of at the freeport, the airport.
I remember now. So if I'm a lawmaker, my kids are abroad.
But that's not your kid business.
My kids are abroad, or my kids are well-to-do. Do I see the need? What I'm saying is we need to put ourselves in those people's shoes. Instead of calling them Zogos, we need to put ourselves into the shoe and say, what if my son was on drugs? How would I deal with it? Then I'll be able to effectuate better laws. But if we separate ourselves and say, as lawmakers, we're coming, everybody afraid of us, ministers, everybody afraid of us, then we've separated ourselves from the people who we're supposed to serve. I don't think that should be the problem. Yes, I think the president, vice president, speaker, president pro tem, all of those people need to carry the motorcades and other stuff. But if I mean, I should be accessible as minister. I should be accessible as director. I should be accessible to the people. And so that's where I'm coming from. And say, let's be accessible to our people. Let's do the things that we need to do. Reduce. Look, if I got as a minister, if I got two bodyguards, two security officers, those are two officers that could be on the street. If I just minister of sports or minister of why do I need to carry 2 or 3 bodyguards? I was just here the other day. The president appointed me 2 days ago. I'm not carrying no bodyguard. Nobody want to kill me.
You're important now.
Yeah, but you're still important. Nobody gonna look at the minister of sports in our country and do something, harm them or other stuff. Let's be honest.
You can preempt that.
But again, what I'm saying is that until that happens, we've not had that happen before. So we know we have a
President Bogart announced drugs as a national emergency. He urged all of his officials to take the drug test. We see already a few people have come on Facebook showing the drug test, or on social media they have showing that. But now the ordinary people, who are in the streets from Center Street to Benson, all around, even in Grand Gita County, in Meriden County, other parts, there are areas you cannot even go. There's a ghetto zone. What is being done because our lawmakers, they are from there. I think they need to put in more money into the budget instead of some of them receiving 5,000 per month or 6,000-7,000 per month. Focus on the ordinary people. Like you said, put it into your shoes. Hey, if I see my niece, my nephew into this situation, go West Point. Go even SKD Boulevard, Concord Town, other areas. There are certain communities of pocket areas that you dare not to go.
Nathan, I'm not worried about what senators make.
It has effect.
No, I'm not worried about what they make.
It do have effect.
No, we need to pay them. In fact, if you sit in the chair, you will ask for the same, right? You will ask for the same. If you were sitting in the chair,
I don't think
looking
so.
at Liberia, I'm coming. Let me just finish. Looking at Liberia. If you are a representative or you're a senator, you in that community you live, you feeding everybody almost, you sending everybody children to school, you're doing all of the other things that which you should not be doing.
Okay.
Right? You're doing that. That's the society we live in. But what I'm saying is that if we were innovative enough to raise money, look, we need to nationalize, make LEC a public corporation. They privatize LEC. I can't work for government. You pay me for 3 months, or you want me to pay LEC bill. It doesn't make sense. People will steal car and people will do that. If it was a private business, who's gonna steal? The government doesn't pay me. The public or private corporation doesn't care, right? Mm-hmm. They will cut your light. So let's water and sewer. Let's make it a private. Let's partner with a private entity and make it private. Even some of the roads, they put tolls on our roads. We can raise money, but the roads must be maintained. Look, if Liberians are not shy in spending money, if we put tolls on our roads and we're spending and the roads are maintained and the Liberians believe that the roads are good and other stuff, $1, they will pay the money. But the money must be used for the road fund. So what I'm saying is that Liberians we're not worried about spending money. I think what we're worried about is that the money is not being spent. So if we can raise the budget to $1 billion or more than $1 billion, then we'll have enough money to fight drugs on our streets. But you can't take all of these young people from the streets. Where do you put them? Even if you have good intention and you arrested all of these people, we don't have the facility to host all of them. Now, we also need to go to the root cause of why these people are on the streets. They don't have jobs. But you know what it means as a young man, you get up in Liberia and you got a child and you don't even know how you feed your child? Even grown-ups come home late. Do you know how many Liberian men stay in the street and come home late at night when the children go to bed? It's because they don't have it. So the system itself, we have to, sometimes when I say we need a socialist democracy, people be like, why? America has socialist democracy. We got a massive welfare system here. What do you think it is? It is because they have put a welfare system in place so that we can go to bed at night and sleep. Even with that, we still got drugs here. We still fighting drugs. We still doing all of these things here. So for our country to develop, government will have to be innovative. Government will have to be strategic. and government will have to go back to the root causes of these things. But we as Liberians must agree that we want to develop. It can't be one sector feel that is superior or the other sector that they've made it, and the rest of the other people did not make it because they made bad choices. Sometimes we didn't choose to be born where we were born. Sometimes we didn't choose to be in the family we found ourselves. So just because we made it doesn't mean that the other people did something wrong. We who God gave the chance to develop and to do something, it is our responsibility to help the people who did not make it.
Okay, if you want to participate on the program, the Diaspora Talk, the numbers are on the screen, 763-238-9904. Let's hear you. How can government of Liberia tackle the issue of drugs in Liberia? Jackson George have been speaking, saying that, hey, this thing must be done holistically. We need to send this to the private sector. Let's take a break. When we come back, we go more into that discussion about drugs, and we hear from protesters again in Liberia on the FDA boss. He laughing. Everybody protesting. Soon they appoint Jackson. I'm going to gather 50% to hold placards and say, look, hey, I'm not in favor of Jackson George. But the famous show Breaking of the Bush is out, my people. Frank Atus is there with that movie. Go on YouTube. Breaking of the Bush.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you're missing something good.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Since I came back.
Yeah.
I love Breaking of the Bush, but it takes so much I can marry it.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I enjoy my round in Roster Soccer.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. Roster Soccer! But we are winners.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. If you don't marry Fanny, you're bow with that.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I we are the bow way, I swear.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. You get soccer, you say traffic.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. We're inside to play the Benko.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I mean, that's supposed to promote our country first. You talking to me like that? You talking to me like that?
Breaking up the bush. All my people breaking up the bush. Take advantage of it. It's our own friend and brother Frank Atus with that new movie, Breaking Up the Bush, that unearthed, exposed, or gave some of the root causes of FGM and how we can do things differently. To participate on the Diaspora Talk, our numbers are up. What do you make of the drugs or war in Liberia? What can be done differently on the Joseph Yvonne Boycott government? We call our brothers and sisters Zogos, and how you can call the females Zogis.
Those people are disadvantaged Liberians. I wouldn't use that word.
Okay, disadvantaged Liberians.
I would call them disadvantaged.
Yeah, there be respect of them. And indeed, like I used to have most of the. I tell you, right, some of them are really friendly. They are from homes, but because of situation, right. I know I have few of them. When I was in Liberia, as soon as I hit Broad Street on the education ministry there, they see me, they recognize me, or I cross the road to Sky FM, they know I'm there, and they will find me vehicle.
One of the things that I'm working on is to, in these neighborhoods, is to get wheelbarrows, start them with sanitation companies, where they can go to people who collect the dirt, get to the cities, have a location where they can throw the dirt, and the city can come and pick it up. These kids, if they had something to do, most of them would do it, right? Most of them don't have things to do. If you have a high percentage of our young people just staying at home, they are complacent. What do you think they're going to do? These guys are frustrated. People are frustrated. Look, people don't just get up in the morning and say, I just want to do drugs. But you get up in the morning, like I say, you got a child. The child has not eaten. The child not going to school. You don't travel around looking for a job. You don't have the skill set to have the kind of job that you need. There's no job. Even to cut the grass in the yard is hard. The people are not structured. Most of them are not structured to work. So our problems are compound complex. We need a whole training institution. And while they are training for this mindset change, we have to give them something. So let's say we pay you $5 a day. You come to the training. We teach you how to cut grass, how to do this. Common sense is not common. We think everybody's supposed to know how to cut grass, but it's a mindset thing. It's how we put these people through the process. Some people don't even know how to work. Because remember, we had 14 years civil war where there was no structure. Before the Civil War, we had structure. We saw our parents going to work, our mothers going to the market and other stuff. Am I saying these things are not happening right now? They are. But for 14 years, the children became our parent. And so that changed. The structure is no longer there. So I think it's about time that we look at our problem holistically. We start to find how we government can partner with the private sector to be able to employ more people, build factories. Yes, the issue of electricity is key to industrial development. You know, if we don't have good electricity, we cannot run a whole manufacturing plant off of generators. You know, it costs more. So those are some of the problems that we have. So it's not an easy thing. So if you sit from the outside and you say, "Oh, it's easy, we can fix it," until you sit in that chair, you have no idea of the complexity of government. And so when you sit in that chair and you have these problems, you have to deal with them with a limited budget. And that's why I say we can move our budget to $1 billion if we streamline LRA, if we streamline, if we look at our airport, if we look at our port of entry, the seaport, if we look at tourism and start investing in the things that we need to invest in to make money. Look, all the planes that are coming to Liberia, they don't even get food from our country.
Yep. Stop.
Some of the things that make money. Do we have restaurants over there that could prepare the food to put on those planes? Yes, we do. But we don't. Why are we making for those planes?
You gotta
They're
reach,
landing, right?
you gotta be setting. I reach a certain standard, and
That's what I'm saying. So the things that will make us make money, the negotiations that will make us make money. Because if those planes were getting food from Liberia, you know how many people will be at work? A lot more people. So how many planes we need to bring into our country to make this amount of money? Yeah. We only got these. How many international flights coming in? Forget about Africa. Let's just talk about Brussels and Emirates.
and Ethiopia,
Airlines.
which coming through Ascot.
We got planes picking up here every minute.
Every second.
Right? Every second. We got planes landing, plane picking up. And we only got 3 planes coming into our country. What can we do to bring more planes into our country? How can we develop a tourism sector that more people will come to Liberia? And I tell you, the tourism sector is developing. Liberians by themselves are building the things that we need to have a good tourism industry in Liberia. It's just that the puzzle has not come together where governments see the need to partner with the private sector, to invest into the private sector, to be able to do the things that we're supposed to do to encourage tourism in our country. Liberians are warm people. You go to Liberia, you enjoy your life. So how come we cannot develop our tourism sector to bring in more people? Even the Liberian diaspora want to come home. Let's make it easier for Liberians in the diaspora to come home. It costs too much. It costs almost $2,000, $3,000 to fly to Liberia.
Yeah.
It costs a lot. If we have more planes coming in, more people coming in, the prices will drop. Liberia will make money. And so there's things that we need to do to make it work. If we do not do those things that we need to do, our budget will always be, just imagine if the projected budget is 580 million and we did not reach 580 million, I mean 400 and some million. That's just salary. Not just salaries and operational funds. So what will go into development? Not much. So we keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. That's what we're going to do. But if we sit around the table and look at our country holistically and look at all of the problems and say in cabinet meeting and other things and be intentional about it, how we can raise money, I think the country can raise a lot of money to do some of the things they want to do.
Okay, let's bring you this development here that is training from the Speaker of the Liberian House of Representatives, Funanti Kofa. He said, and I read from his Facebook page, met with Ambassador at Large Beth Van Sashi and her team from the Office of Global Crime Justice earlier today at the Capitol building. Funanti Kofa, Speaker of Liberia House of Representatives, said, and I quote, I made it clear to Ambassador at Large that we support justice for war victims, but we will not be rash or insensitive to the concerns of people who feel targeted. This will be done right. And if it is what our people want, their elected representatives will say so through their votes. As Speaker, I will make sure the debate is true and that it considers everything: reconciliation, maintenance of peace, and fairness to alleged perpetrators. Funanti Kofa there, he met with the head of the team from the Global Justice Crime, from the Office of Global Crime Justice in Liberia at his Capitol building. This whole war economic
the
crime.
issue of war and economic crime. I don't know if there's any Liberian who wouldn't want justice to be done. You know, we are 25 deep Other countries are 3 deep, with 25 deep. You heard Rover Bush, right? I think even we have a lot of victims. The war, the Civil War hurt a lot of people. People are traumatized. I don't even know some of us have gotten all our trauma from the war. But equally so, I think there's a sector of Liberians that believe that there are few people who are responsible, and when war and economic crime code, those people will be arrested and put into jail, right? Equally so, those people have their own stories as to why they behave the way they behave, right?
Yep.
And so I like the war economic crime code. I want it to be done on our terms and not forced by the international community. But equally so, there must be true justice. So let's take for instance Prince Johnson. Let's just use Prince Johnson as an example. We all saw Prince Johnson uh, killing a former president, right?
Yeah.
So that is what is in our mind. The question would be, what led Prince Johnson to do that? In real code, right? Prince Johnson will have his side of the story to tell.
Motive.
And I think Prince Johnson needs to tell his story, because for you to do that, for you to go to that level of doing what you did, something must have led you to do that. So one man's poison is another man's medicine or food, right? So we want justice, but we must all have a mindset that some people could go in there and only come out with reconciliation as a means of solving our problem, because everybody's hurt. My sister was shot in the war, bling bling, bam, by Prince Johnson forces, right? So we all have pain, we all want justice, but the justice that we seek in our mind might not be the justice, the outcome of what we are looking forward to, because everybody has a motive. Yes, look at the child soldiers. How do you hold them accountable now when they were kids and were told what to do? Or some of them would say we were drugged. So the perpetrator, the person who we think Mr. Taylor is in jail for Sierra Leone, he's not in jail because he committed crimes in Liberia. You know, it's because he committed crimes over there. So the people with the most crime will be called in. We do not even know all the actors in our place. Some of the actors them may have been president or could be president or could be sitting down. We don't know. So we all want this justice. What I'm saying is that in our mind, let's just prepare ourselves for truth and reconciliation and justice. Because yes, some people should be held accountable. You know, Samuel Doe, when he took power in 1980, there were things that there was not a bloodless coup, you know, but he too has a family. Towa has his own family. The people that were put on the pole and killed, they have their own family. So this justice that we're looking for goes back way back. You know, you think Totman did not commit crime? You don't think Totman did something to other people's families? Totman must have done something. Let's go back to Barkley. Let's go back to say who Barkley or who Joseph Jingira on their team. So our justice is not the justice that some of people seek is not from 1980. I mean, from 1989 when this happened. Someone Doki and killed all those people on the pole. Whoa, you don't think those people have families? You don't think Samuel Doe got children that Prince Johnson killed? Samuel Doe children feel.
So are you in support of the war and economic
I think
crimes?
every Liberian should support the war and economic crime. I think Prince Johnson himself want war and economic crime code so he can tell why he behaved the way he behaved. We want to know. I think he himself just hanging over Prince Johnson. I don't think Prince Johnson is happy about it either. But it's the way in which we say it, it's the way in which we come after it, so that Prince Johnson built his own resistance and say, well, now, these people don't even understand that I went through my own trauma too. You know, you don't understand how I got here. I think if we present the case in another way, Prince Johnson himself would advocate for war crime, because Prince Johnson want to tell his story so that somebody be held accountable too. You know, I think if you listen to the True and Reconciliation and the brief stuff he get, how he was hiding and running away because they wanted to kill him. You know, Thomas Kwabamba, you know, DK Wansali, all these people who died, they got families. You know, so it's just not a targeted or a thing. So there's truth and reconciliation that we seek. We must be sincere and not think that it's coming after one person because we're 25 deep. It might be Prince Johnson that we're targeting, but when the truth and reconciliation come, my own cousin or my family could be tied into it. And so I'm not saying we should not do it. Let's just do it in a way that is respectful, that we can all come to the conclusion and say we are all sorry. And those who did the most crime will find justice, but it should not be targeting one group of people or one set of person, and it should not be that way. It should be a reconciliation, truth, and justice that we will go through, and even the person who perpetrated the crime will say, "I did wrong, and I will pay for my crime." I think that's how it should be.
Indeed, Fonati Kofa met with some officials there from the Justice Department there who wants to ensure that peace reign in Liberia, and they are from the Global Crime Justice, the GCJ. He met with them earlier today. Fonati Kofa, Speaker of the Liberian House of Representatives, he said that, hey, yes, indeed, we support it, but equally so, this must be considered. We must consider everything: reconciliation, the maintenance of peace, and fairness to alleged perpetrators. So that's why Fonati Kofa is saying that it be fair. And indeed, he said, if that's what the people want, we're going to not hide it from the floor. We're going to put it, and it's going to go through votes, as you know. So,
You know, I mean, there's plenty of things that happen in our country. Even the auditors, Sam Doki, all of these people who, how they call him, Jackson Doe, the president of LU, all of these things are not, when we're talking about this, it's not just the war, not just that. We got to bring everything on the table and find true justice and true peace so that the people who are hurting can come to that reconciliation, peace of mind, and say, at least I know who did this to my family, and let's move on.
Okay, some Liberians are protesting against the appointment of FDA boss. They believe that, hey, Joseph Imamboka must withdraw or rescind his decision. It's another protest. We saw that happening to Edis Green, a superintendent of Grand Gita County. We also saw that happening to the AFL, the boss, that is a defense minister. He also to resign under pressure. So indeed, as Joseph Boka make his nomination, people are not just happy. They are carrying out protests all around Liberia. Should this be the usual trend Liberians must take? And what can be done with this 79-year-old President Joseph Imamboka stand in tracking these things?
What is 79-year-old got to do with it?
But that's the main age.
No, but I mean, it doesn't. I mean,
but that's his age, Jackson.
Well, but I mean, why you got to put that in?
Some more years old, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, what is a 54-year-old Jackson Jones going to do? I mean, it's like, but
so I should say old man Joseph.
No, you don't even have to say that. but let's go
that's
to
his age. Let's see what happened. Let's listen to the protester, Jackson.
As the managing director of the Project Development Authority, that is in violation of the law of the FDA. Section 7.2 of the FDA law that says, once you become a managing director, you must have a discipline, or you must be a discipline-oriented person in forestry. Yo, the Waka Assemblies of the Earth to LEC, yo, FDA for forestry. But it is contradicting Mr. Rudolph Mara, who has been appointed as the managing director of the Project Development Authority, a bachelor degree in physics at the University of Liberia. So Mr. Rudolph Mara must be a man who will be comparing with other countries the likes of America and China in nuclear weapons, but not on the basis of land, not on the basis of forestry. So last week we assembled at the ground on the Forestry Development Authority, wherein they were honoring the program of Rudolph Mara as the managing director. We assembled on the ground calling on the president to reject or to recall the nominee Rudolph Mara because it contradicts or it violates the law of the FDA. On that basis, you have the Liberian National Police, you have the FDA regional who should be protecting the student community, the student class. You have them put on lasting comments.
That's a Liberian there speaking against the appointment of FDA boss Rudolph. But let's see, we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, brother. How you doing? I'm calling from New Jersey, the United States of America. My name is Sonny.
What's your concern on the Diaspora Talk?
Yeah, my concern on the Diaspora Talk is about the War and Economic Crime Code. Yeah, I support the War and Economic Crime Code, and it's been too long for me. Leave with me today they come because some of us are victims. Since 1989, I was experienced the war from 9 years old all the way to 18 years old. So it's time for them to build a war economic crime code. But my thing is that why do we want to build a code in Ghana? Why we can't build it in Liberia? We have a lot of land. We understand that because of security reasons, Prince Johnson, if you find guilty, General Nathan Bly, if you find guilty, or you get caught about, the supporter will be able to. But that's why the American people say they want it. So if they say they want it, they should be able to bring the security and train people. That people will be able to go there. But not take it and go to Ghana. Like people never commit crime in Ghana, they commit it in Liberia. So we need them to build it in Liberia, and that will also bring jobs for our security agencies. So that's one thing on it.
So don't you think it's bringing up old wounds? Looking at this justice, you don't think so?
I don't think so, brother. The reason why I said that, look at the election 2023. What happened when the election came? Prince Johnson, all of them start coming up. I don't say allegedly on the internet we saw gun coming from all these nearby countries, from Guinea, Ivory Coast, and all this stuff. It start popping up. What happened again? Nathan Bly came up. He start putting rescue soldier, all type of things. And Yaka Kolba say if Opons try, everything was scattered, and all these things they start popping up. They start threatening people. People were scared.
But Liberia is peaceful now. Liberia is peaceful. Do you still want this war and economic crime code? Don't you think it will bring up old wounds?
I don't think it will bring up old wounds. Never bring up old wounds for Sierra Leone. They never bring up old wounds for people who did it. They will not bring no old wounds. That's the fear factor for they don't want to do it. Why? They don't want to do it because people want to come and just for us, for each time they want us, even the economic crime code, there are people who steal the money. And due to the people steal money to go out of the country, they come back again. So we need these things. We need it.
All right. Thanks so much for your concern. He's calling for the War and Economic Crimes Code, saying that those who committed heinous crimes in Liberia, Jackson, must be prosecuted. He don't care as to who names were involved. That's caller there speaking to us on the Diaspora Talk. The number to call and participate as we wind down this program is 763-238-9904. And you can also call us on WhatsApp. This is our KMTV studio line. So you can save that in your phone. And whenever we on this program, you can call us to participate. Let's move over to our latest development, Jackson Josh, on LIBA, Liberia Business Association in the diaspora. What's cooking? Something big coming up.
Well,
tell us more.
We are organizing on April 7th. We will be doing a Zoom meeting of all Liberians in the diaspora that are doing business in Liberia. I think it's important for us to begin to network, share best practices, and leverage our collective potential. Many of the times we go to Liberia and we try to do business individually. We do not even know all of us who are doing business in Liberia and how we could network and even trade among ourselves or even do business among ourselves. And that is why LIBA Diaspora, we are calling on all Liberians within the diaspora who own a business in Liberia or wanting to do business in Liberia on the 7th of April. We have our meeting. You can send in your information, register at info@libausa.org, and we'll send you the link to that meeting. It's a Zoom meeting. You don't have to be in the United States. You can be in Canada. You can be in Europe. You can be anywhere. What we want to do is to start building a network of Liberians who are doing in the diaspora who are doing business in Liberia, so that we can do better. There's some things that if we combine our efforts, we can solve, we can help to resolve. And there's some things that we might not be able to do, but through our collective effort, I think we can come up with good ideas that we can provide to government to make our lives easier or to even help to create jobs in Liberia. We are already creating jobs in Liberia. And so how can government partner with us to make it better? And that's why we're having this meeting. So if you're out there, again, it's info@libausa.org. It's info@libausa.org. Send your request. Let us know that you want to be a part, and we will definitely send that.
The
And
flyers
also,
are up there,
the
so
flyers
you
there.
see the flyers on the screen.
Please make sure you be a part of this meeting. This is not going to be a one-time meeting. Maybe every month we have this meeting until we go into quarterly, so we can set up a system where we can communicate some of the contracts, some of the bids in Liberia. Why can't we come together and apply for those bids? The reason why we can is because we all doing this individually. So we get angry that other foreigners are taking all of the major contracts in Liberia, but some of we are already there. It's just a matter of coming together. So if government needed 25% payment before the contract can start, maybe if we pull together our resources, we can pull that 25%, and 5 or 6 of us can apply for the same contract and make it work. So those are some of the ideas that we want to come up with, and that's why we're making that happen. On the 14th of March, we also having a blue line. You know, it's a $1.34 billion project that the state, the train is coming from Minneapolis to Brooklyn Park. And so the state will be sending in, the county will be sending in some people to talk to us who are business owners. This is a real project. It's going to be built. We who are business owner with along the corridor, we have to play a role. Some of our businesses may be compensated because during the construction it will be closed down. We want to ask real questions. We do not want gentrification or displacement of our small and micro businesses. So if you got questions, come. That will be at LIBA office, 6248 Lakeland Avenue North in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Come and ask your question. How would this train affect your business? Or how can small and micro businesses play a major role into this whole entire construction that coming? Remember, we got Liberian construction companies that we are advocating for so that they can take part of this contract to build this railroad that is coming to our community. So there's a lot of things that are happening. We ask that you be a part, and let's make this community and our country better.
Indeed, 2 activities from LIBA, March 14th, few days from now, 10 days from now, there will be a program. Hey, talking about the blue line, the significance of it, the importance of it to the business community in Liberia. Then on the Sunday, April 7th, there will be another Diaspora Liberian doing business engagement, and he just spoke about it. The information are there.
We're also going to be calling all those who are shipping to Liberia. We want to be able to have a meeting with them, all the shippers, so that we can streamline some of the things.
No protests.
No, it's not protests. What we want to do is that we want to have a collective voice.
Okay.
People who are shipping to Liberia, we want to know their concerns.
Yeah.
We want to know what their problems are, so that we can assist in terms of putting those complaints. We can do it individually, and that's has been our problem. Normally, one shipper will go have his own problem, complain, come back, and another. No, let's put our concerns into a collective effort, and let's make sure that our concerns are heard. We have a commerce minister now who is a business owner, and we're hoping we got legislators who are business owners. We got government officials who are business owners. And so if in this 6 years, if businesses do not do well, I don't understand when businesses will do well. So we keep our finger crossed. We are hoping that we will all help to build this country that we all love. And so we're doing our part from the diaspora. We are hoping that government would see fit to partner with us to make things happen.
Indeed, government must see fit to it because the diaspora have a big voice in Liberia, and they are the driving force
No
of
country,
our
no
economy.
country, no
Remittance.
country, no country can develop without.
But one time
diaspora.
you're calling on no remittance to Liberia, man.
Well,
You still stand by that?
The point here is we've never translated our remittances into economic development. It's all been social services, personal effect. Why can't we build factories? Why can't we build low-income housing? Why can't we pull our resources to build some of the things? You got 600 Liberians in one house. Why can't we get into low-income housing and build low-income housing to move our people from one place? Why can't we get into tourism? Collectively come together and build a tourism industry. I think that's what I was talking about. And number two, if we're remitting over $300 or $500 million, that's almost more than half of our national budget. So people should take the diaspora serious.
Okay, take the diaspora communities very seriously. And This is how we end the program on the Diaspora Talk. Been looking at major talking points here. Attention at East Rock Crushing site in Lower Maygibi County, just days after Liberians who protest were killed in Grand Cape County. MCC boss John Cipher on massive cleaning up of dirty Monrovia City after taking over from CDC Jefferson Kochi, warned restaurants and other business owners to clean their filth from Monrovia. Police boss Gregory Coleman announces setting up a whole case EFA unit to dig deeper into all cases that have been on the docket but not concluded. Popular Nigerian actor and comedian John Okofa, known as Mr. Ibu, is dead. George Weah, former Liberian leader, is back on his pulpit, blasting the Joseph Human Boyka leadership of the Unity Party for killing protesters in Liberia. And we look at the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency boss Ibrahim Krumah crying out for more money for his agency. And LIBA is having some big meeting coming April 7, and on March 14, they are hosting the Blue Line officials to discuss more of how the Blue Line can benefit Liberian businesses in the diaspora. So Jackson George have been here looking at all of these things and giving his own opinion on the issue. We'll listen to some a Liberian call pledging support to the war and economic crimes set up in Liberia. And South Speaker Funati Kofa met with officials of the Justice Department to ensure that, hey, this thing you are bringing into our country, war and economic crime, is done peacefully. Thanks for always viewing. Cyrus McGill and Joanne Proud CA are affiliated with this program. My name is Nathan Charles, sitting in the presenter seat. Jackson George has been here helping to analyze, dilute some of the situation there from Liberia. He just returned fresh and ready to help transform the business sector in Liberia. Have yourself a wonderful day. Don't forget, this is KMTV. We are here to serve you better, and have yourself a wonderful day. Let's take a word from our sponsor and enjoy the rest of the day. We'll be here on Wednesday.
I'm a Liberian. I love breaking up the bush, but it takes so much I can marry.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I enjoy my round in Roster Soccer.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. Roster Soccer! Roster Soccer! But we are winner!
Of course, I'm a Liberian. If you're not married, Fanny, you're power with that.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I let my way to be way, I swear.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. You get soccer, you say traffic.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. Go inside to the play the benko.
Of course, I'm a Liberian. I mean, that's supposed to promote our country first. You talking to me like that? Eh? You talking to me like that?
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Broken Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or ride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.